welcome to part 2 of the Grindhouse review. For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the fake trailers that played in between Planet Terror and Death Proof. There's not a ton to say other than that to help really make the whole movie feel like it was a recreation of the Grindhouse double feature drive-in experience. They had movie trailers play in between, and they were made to look like crazy, not well-made exploitation movies, and I would say that the directors they got to make the fake trailers succeeded and did a very good job. They got Rob Zombie, Edgar Wright, and Eli Roth. I definitely think they did a good job of recreating this, and like I said in the last video, I was not alive during the Grindhouse era, so I don't know firsthand what a Grindhouse double feature was like in its prime. But the Colonial Theater in the town where I live does occasionally do like a late night, usually around the Halloween season, screening of a classic horror film or low budget Grindhouse type movie. And they play trailers before the movie, and they have intermission moments, and like the Grindhouse movie here, they splice in those colorful and choppy looking preview moments like swirling colors and previews of coming attractions, or just these neon looking animated segments before the trailers. So I got a little bit idea, I guess, of how they would do that, and the Colonial, when they do a recreation of that type of late night screening thing, they also will play 70s or 80s looking commercials, usually for concession, and this is something that Colonial specifically plays, commercials for Bic lighters.
Oh, I'm really excited about this flick.
Oh yes? Excited enough to flick your Bic?
I love to flick, but this theater has its rules and regulations during the flick.
What you mean is, we can't flick our Bics in the thick of the flick?
That's very bright.
But enough bitching. Let's get into the fake trailers. Even though they're just trailers, you can tell by the scale and size of the trailers that they actually went all the way and built real sets, probably sets that would be used for feature-length films, and use them just for these brief segments that I think don't go over 3 minutes each. Like, I think the longest they go is maybe 2.5 to just under 3 minutes. So they put a lot in for these very small segments, and in a way it's like making a short film. And Rob Zombie's trailer is the first one to go up after Planet Terror, for a movie that pays homage to the women in prison, Nazi exploitation type movies of the 1970s, such as Love Camp 7, SS Girls, and specifically, and this is where Rob Zombie no doubt got the title for his trailer from, Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. And what is the name of Rob Zombie's Grindhouse trailer?
Werewolf Women of the SS.
I don't know where to start with this trailer. It is very grim looking, it's very flinchy to watch. Like, it'll make you cringe actually, which is what the Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS trailer did the first time I watched it when I was like 13 or 14. The plot for this fake movie looks like Nazis trying to turn women into super soldiers, and the lead Nazi is played by one of my friend Mike's favorite actors, Udo Kier, and the other Nazi is played by Tom Towles, the late great genre actor of many horror films, and who had actually been in Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. And Udo Kier had been in Rob Zombie's Halloween, so yeah, he was using his regulars, including, once again, his wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, who Sherry Moon Zombie is not a great actress, but she does okay in the role she's given, usually. Like, Baby Firefly was her quintessential role. She's better here than she was in Rob Zombie's Halloween. But back to the plot, Sherry Moon Zombie and Sybil Danning play two Nazi SS women who come walking in leather SS suits and fishnet stockings and black panties. And we get these weird splice shots of Sherry Moon as a bedazzled lounge singer, and she puts on a exaggerated German accent, which is, I guess, funny. Just doing what she does best, playing a crazy slut. And Sybil Danning, I don't think she does a ton here, other than being at Sherry Moon's side, and there's this great publicity photo of Sybil Danning in the SS getup. And here she is in another werewolf horror flick. We also get another Rob Zombie regular, Bill Moseley, as the evil scientist torturing the women prisoners to make them super soldiers, Dr. Heinrich von Strasser. And Bill puts on his own exaggerated accent, and he has this real evil thin mustache, and he's like, "You have been chosen! Rejoice!"
You have been chosen! Rejoice!
And when Sherry Moon and Sybil come in, and they say, "We are now in control," Bill Moseley's like, "This is my project!" Just going nuts.
This is my project.
We are now in total control of pure wolf.
This is an outrage!
And then we get all these shots of women being tortured, branded with the swastika. We get werewolf Nazis firing machine guns. And then we get this cast call where we see all the actors posing, starring Udo Kier, Tom Towles, Sherry Moon Zombie, Sybil Danning, Bill Moseley, and we see Bill doing a jerky motion dance. And then we cut, this comes completely out of nowhere, by the way. We cut to a very Asian looking setting, and we see this, I guess, pretty young Asian girl hit a gong, and the narrator says, "And Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu." And then we see, and it actually is Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu in Asian silk and with a very fake looking Fu Manchu mustache, and just making the exaggerated hand and eye motions, and then going, "Ooh-ha-ha-ha! Ah-ha-ha-ha!"
This is my method!
This part comes completely, I swear the fuck out of nowhere, just to end the trailer, and some people might get pissy at this kind of thing, but it's an in-joke thing. It's really cool, poking fun at the fact that the character of Fu Manchu is always played by a white actor, and the fact that it's Nicolas Cage, it actually is Nicolas Cage, just makes it all the more random and funny. And Nicolas Cage and Rob Zombie are friends in real life, which is why I guess he did this, and it's pretty cool when directors do that with their friends. And the sets and design for the death camp and the evil scientist laboratory is pretty awesome. It looks great. It reminds me a lot of House of a Thousand Corpses, which had amazing sets. The next fake trailer is a tribute to all those horror movies of the 70s and 80s that had titles like "Don't Look in the Basement," "Don't Go in the House." Just movies with "don't" and then a bunch of other bullshit following it. And this segment is directed by Edgar Wright, who many will know as the director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and The World's End. And this whole segment is basically just one repeated gag, which is that the movie's title is simply the word don't. And the whole trailer is about a bunch of people going to, I guess, a deserted house inhabited by cannibals, and this narrator, who is actually Will Arnett, constantly going, don't look in, don't go in, don't open. And then we get, at one point, when it seems like everything's going crazy, the narrator screaming, don't, 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 over and over. That's just the whole shtick. That's the whole gimmick. The movie's title is Don't, and it's all based around don't go in, don't do this, don't do fucking anything. It's funny, but I have had to choose one of the fake trailers that would be the least memorable. I think it would be the Don't trailer, which doesn't say it's bad. It is fun, but there's not much to it other than it's just a one long joke. And for what it is, it works pretty well. It's very quick, to the point, and enjoyable, and features the great duo of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost making cameos. Simon Pegg plays a bearded cannibal, and Nick Frost plays, and you'll have to see the trailer to find out exactly just how graphic this gets. He plays the baby eater. And like any, I guess you could say this is something that a lot of movie trailers back then was really good about them. This trailer, like, even though the movie's fake, this trailer does not give away at all really what the plot is beyond that they're in the house. Doesn't really show any backstory, shows what's going to happen, which is a cool thing to have to play the old style trailers, showing in just enough but not giving away the whole fucking story. And other actors in Edgar Wright's fake trailer are Jason Isaacs, who plays a bearded man at the beginning that opens the gate to the Don't house, and Lucy Punch as a blonde. That's it, just a blonde, there's nothing else. Like I said, there really isn't much going on in this trailer other than it constantly berating the audience with don't, don't, don't. And that's probably getting annoying, so I'm just gonna stop. And if I seem like I'm a little edgy and like I'm having a hard time focusing, I made myself another special coffee. And now, on to the last of the fake trailers, and in the eyes of many, the best of the fake trailers. Thanksgiving. Written by Jeff Randall and Eli Roth, and directed by Eli Roth.
Thanksgiving. You'll come home for the holidays in a body bag this February.
I don't think it takes a genius to figure out that this trailer is meant to be a parody of Halloween. It's a fun parody of the slasher genre. I don't really think it's a good parody of Halloween, because Halloween, the original, was never this gory or bloody, but it follows the formula of a slasher movie pretty well, and parodies the hype and build-up that slasher movies of the 80s had for their movie trailers. And next to having some pretty awesome looking gore effects, the Thanksgiving trailer also lifts some of the music scoring from George A. Romero's Creepshow. Specifically from the water zombie segment of Creepshow, and a little from the Father's Day segment. Someone who loves Creepshow and was very familiar with it before he saw Grindhouse, watching the Thanksgiving trailer and recognizing the music was just a joy. And Eli Roth actually made this trailer while he was in the middle of making Hostel Part 2, so good to know that the making of Hostel Part 2 was not a total waste of time. And this trailer is just all over the place. Like, it is the craziest. Like, even crazier than Werewolf Women of the SS. Like, everybody's, getting slashed and slaughtered. There's a lot of decapitations going on. There's a lot of gratuitous sex. It's just wild and manic. And Eli Roth, I guess poking fun at 80s teen slashers, casts himself as a high school kid, I think, which is funny because Eli Roth was fucking 34 when he made this movie. I mean, he looks nice for his age, but he does not look like a fucking high schooler. And he has a very memorable death moment here, where he's with his girlfriend in a car, played by Eli Roth's good friend, Jordan Ladd. She plays a chick named Judy. Eli Roth's character's name is Tucker. And he persuades her to give him a Thanksgiving present, which is a blowjob. And as she goes down on him and we hear a bunch of slurping, we pan up and we see that his head's been cut off. And as she's sucking, she puts her hand up, ends up touching the stump. And after a sound effect that implies that maybe she swallowed, she looks up and goes, "Ah!" And then we cut to a freeze frame of Eli Roth's head hitting a car window with Thanksgiving. Yeah, we get this creepy voice throughout, and the narrator is actually Eli Roth as well. He has a reputation for being good at doing voice impressions. There was one scene earlier where we see this high school boy and this cheerleader in the school's gymnasium, and she's topless, takes down her panties, and just bounces up on a trampoline, giving us a great ass shot. And then we see this knife pop up for the trampoline, and the cheerleader, while she's in the air, does a split, comes down, and it's implied that the knife, she impales herself on it right through her vagina. And when that happened, I was like, fuck! And then we cut to Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
And we get a bunch of other crazy shit, like a Thanksgiving parade, where a pilgrim, who is supposed to be the killer, decapitates the guy in the turkey suit. And the guy despite having no head, the body just walks around flopping everywhere and blood going everywhere. And the pilgrim is played by the segment's co-writer, Jeff Randall. The segment ends with a family having Thanksgiving. When they unveil the turkey, we see that it is the decapitated and sliced up body of one of the victims.
Happy Thanksgiving, Grandma.
Did you stop? From director Eli Roth. Thanksgiving.
It's a wild, fun segment. It's pretty cool. Just no restraint, going nuts. It almost reminds me of like a Lloyd Kaufman style bit. I know Eli Roth is a fan of trauma movies. Is there anything else to mention about the Thanksgiving segment? It would be Hostel and Hostel Part 2 actor Jay Hernandez has a cameo as this other high schooler when he's way too old to play a high schooler. A character named Bobby, who Jordan Ladd's character makes out with. And while she's making out with him, suddenly his body falls from underneath the head.
Cool it, Judy. You're safe. Mommy's here.
Apparently, he got decapitated while they were making out. Makes sense of that. It's just nuts. And the very last thing to mention would be Michael Bain, who played the sheriff in Planet Terror, makes a cameo in the Thanksgiving trailer as a sheriff.
It's
Maybe it's a tribute to low-budget exploitation films using the same actors over and over again. Now, I guess if there's anything else, it would be, which of the fake trailers is my favorite? The one I covered in the Planet Terror segment of this review, Machete, Werewolf Women of the SS, Don't, or Thanksgiving. I like the Machete trailer, but it got made into its own film, so I don't think it stands out as much as the other fake trailers, which are their own unique thing. Werewolf Women of the SS is grisly and a little depraved looking, but has a fun edge and has a lot of randomness. Don't is a lot of fun, but it's just one joke over and over, and it's good for its own thing, but it's not as memorable as the other fake trailers. And Thanksgiving is just wild, crazy fun, and a lot of people say, and I guess I could kind of agree with this, the Thanksgiving fake trailer is probably Eli Roth's best work. And I'm not an Eli Roth hater, but I don't enjoy him enough to have seen all of his movies, and what I have seen of him, Cabin Fever, Hostel, has just been okay. It's not great, but it's, I guess, okay. It's enjoyable. Hostel Part 2 is a really big piece of crap, in my opinion. That movie was just, it felt both lazy and just contrived, even for Eli Roth. So, which fake trailer do I like better? It comes down to Werewolf Women of the SS and Thanksgiving. It's a close call, but I'm gonna go with Thanksgiving. I'm following into the general opinion. It's just, it's the craziest, and it's the most, just doesn't give a fuck trailer. I'm a bigger fan of Rob Zombie, but Eli Roth's Thanksgiving just, it won me over. There was one other fake trailer that was spliced into the original release of Grindhouse, but it was only really played in the Canadian screenings. So, unless you were in Canada, you probably never saw this one when it first came out. Hobo with a Shotgun. And, yeah, that's the title. And this, along with Machete, is the only other fake trailer from Grindhouse to be made into a feature film. It wasn't as big as Machete. It was pretty small, I think, but I think it's gotten a cult following on DVD. And it stars, the feature film version of the trailer stars Rutger Hauer, another Grindhouse 80s favorite. So what do we gotta say? Thanksgiving by Eli Roth is my favorite of the fake trailers. Werewolf Women of the SS would have to be my second pick. So that is it. Those are my thoughts on the fake trailers, and next week I will conclude my 3-part review of the 2007 cult classic Grindhouse by reviewing Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. See you then.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.